everything that I'm about comes down to two things. They can be put down into two words, but they touch on a lot of things. Health and esotericism or occultism. Anything with magic or healing or anything like that is to do with health. There's a big difference between a healer and a doctor. Every healer can be a doctor, but not every doctor can be a healer, they say. A doctor is keep you on a prescription to come back, but a healer is very uncomfortable, a healer, because they'll show you what's wrong with you and then it's up to you. Any conspiracy theorist in reality is a spiritual person who probably doesn't realize it.
So on this week's episode of Disciples of Truth, we have Sionysius on, Danny from Sionysius.
Hiya, hello.
So I'd just like you to share what it is that you're about. Obviously it's astrology, and what else do you...
Honestly, I think everything that I'm about comes down to two things. They can be put down into two words, but they touch on a lot of things, as people might have been aware of online. So I'd say it's health and esotericism or occultism, however people want to put it. And honestly, I think there's like a link between those, which is why I put a lot of like messages out there and I try and tell people. In my opinion, I think anything with magic or healing or anything like that is to do with health. Yeah. People adopt like a book or rules from a book like the Hermeticum or anything. It's for their health. It's for their mental health. People don't go out and say, oh, flat earth, and oh, don't eat this and don't eat that for no reason. It's for their health, whether it's mental or physical. And I think that's my purpose here, is to come and spread information, truth that people can test and verify for themselves. And see that it's actually all about health, in my opinion.
That's where it all lies, isn't it? Like you've got a million problems until you've only got one, which is your health.
And that's
it's
true.
Like, then the scrambling. I mean, at this day and age, you've got a lot of people just giving in to over-the-counter pharmaceuticals to answer all the problems, but you don't see them getting much better. I don't know if it's just through the lens that I see now. There's so many sick people, even now they walk or talk, and you can see there's so much discomfort and pain. And there's not much exercise added to it, is there? Not
at all. No, I think exercise is a big medicine that people are not being prescribed. It's kind of sad, to be honest, when you see like a human vessel, and this is for me and you knowing this, right? You and me might know that there's no food good enough to make myself obese, but there are people obese, there are people that have diabetes, there are people that have dementia, people that have all these things, and we're not being told about it, we're not being treated the right way. So instead of actually, there's a big difference between a healer and a doctor. Every healer can be a doctor, but not every doctor can be a healer, they say. A doctor is keep you on a prescription to come back, but a healer is very uncomfortable, a healer, because they'll show you what's wrong with you and then it's up to you. Healer's like a very good mirror.
But not a lot of people, it's the old Buddhist thought, it's like not many people, if you can't help them if they don't want to give up the thing that's making them ill. I've seen it with people with alcohol, like arthritis and stuff is very linked to alcohol. And people are like, oh, what can I do for it? I'm like, you don't want to give it up? Well, like, don't ask me again then. We've all got to give things up to ascend, and evolve. That's what we're here to do, aren't we?
Yeah. It's not easy giving things up though. Change is perhaps the only thing that actually remains, yet it's the most difficult thing.
Well, you get retested and retested. Like we've just been talking all the way over. It just feels like something's always trying to pull you back in at some point. And it's where do you find the discipline to keep on top of it all?
Do you think discipline lasts a long time?
I think it becomes a part of you, certain aspects of it. It's got to sharpen you.
So you feel like it becomes embedded in you?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's through repetition. It's got to be through repetition. I mean, I've started to not try to battle myself so much, like we were saying on the way over, is I would counting my losses so much more, and I would counting my wins. I'd do 50 good things through the day, whatever it may be that I were doing, and then I'd eat one bad food, and I'd count that as that whole day were a loss. I'm like,
Same.
It's not how anyone would play any game."
True. That's true. That's actually very true. See, I used to be heavy into video games and stuff. And what did it matter if I'd done one thing wrong when I've done everything else right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I start to think about this life and I'm like, hey, I've done everything like perfect today. I'm not gonna like go crazy in my own head, go manic because I just done this one thing that maybe it was a treat for myself, even though it was not the healthiest thing. There's some point where I just have to retreat in myself,
Yeah.
you know, and just let that happen.
Yeah, yeah. Just be easy. Yeah, give some self love to yourself. It's
Yeah.
an hard world to live in.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, yeah.
Your face when I said that.
Oh man. The thing is, though, is like we're constantly bombarded, gaslighting and this and this and that, how to treat other people, how not to treat other people. But what we're not taught is how to treat ourselves. And when we are in a bad situation, when we treat ourselves, we're offered things, right? And it's not an issue, whether it's therapy through the government, whether it's medicine in the bushes in the Amazon, it's not an issue. But once you start to rely on that, issue.
Yeah, it's too much of anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's then it becomes like a sin, doesn't it, in some kind of form. So how did your journey start getting into astrology then?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think the good way to put this is to start from the beginning. I was just born and raised in South London. I've got like two different parents, come from crazy different places. My father's from like northern Albania, very different heritage to my mum, who was born in Venezuela but moved to Portugal, Madeira.
Yeah.
So I grew up with like a lot of languages, a lot of information around me, and I see a lot of symbolism. I was born in 2002. People forget that I'm still very young. I turned 23 next month in July, and I grew up with a lot of symbolism. I grew up with a lot of things, and I was like really interested. I was really into space. I was really into all these things, right? But it never really clicked to me until like about 13, 14. I started looking into, I was addicted to Coca-Cola at a young age, right?
Right.
A liter or two a day, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mum and my dad were like the biggest enablers, especially my mum. She wouldn't really be fussed about it. She just like, yeah, just go buy it, whatever. Oh, can I have £2-3, go to the shop? Yep, come back with Coca-Cola for the next 2-3 days, and that's me. You know, I drink Coke and just like play games and just go out in the area and just tomfoolery.
Yeah.
So I started looking into companies. That was the first ever thing that I'd done for myself. The first time I actually started thinking for myself is I started looking at Coca-Cola companies, who owns them, and kind of got into that, and that brought me on to how money was made and everything. And I think that's, and also in my opinion, I think like any conspiracy theorist in reality is a spiritual person who probably doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because when you ask someone, it's like, oh, so you're a conspiracy theorist, and like, yeah, da da da. But then when you ask them, it's like, oh, you a spiritual person? Like, yeah, I'm into spirituality and da da da. I feel like there's those two very big distinctions. So I came from a point of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And it would be a headache to have a conversation with me at like 16, 17, 18, because all I talk about were these like names and NWO and MAGA and all of these things and QAnon and whatnot. I would just talk about these things, but until I actually like started to live and behave like a human who was actually like learning from what he was researching from.
Yeah.
Stop drinking the Coca-Cola, stop eating certain breads, stop eating certain meats and this and that. Then I started to realize, okay, cool, this is interesting, because now I see my life change. When I really got into astrology was because I watched, I want to say, Santos Bonacci online.
Oh, love Santos.
Yeah, amazing. This was after my whole ordeal with Freemasons in my family. And to be honest, I was actually talking to them about astrology, and they told me they covet a lot of things, right? Freemasonry isn't a secret society, it's a society with secrets. Mm-hmm. So they don't have a secret conversation, they have conversations with secrets. They'll tell you, for example, if they're having a conversation with you, oh, what if I can't make tomorrow because tomorrow is a rainy day? And I've had situations like that where I'm listening to them and I'm like, we're in the middle of fucking summer, it's definitely not gonna rain tomorrow. You're talking in cold. Okay, so I started to get all of it, and I started to realize, you know what, actually astrology is a big code for this system. At least that's how I see it. And Santos Panacci, he done some amazing work, and his lectures online, I was like, what? I was
Yeah,
like, what is this?
It was Zach from Embodied Celestial that I actually were watching, and he were on about him. Says I get a lot of my knowledge from him. Then all his videos started bobbing up, and I'm like, insane, like how he decodes it, and it left me with too many unanswered questions to not start going further down.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about it in talking in like code, when we were having a discussion of we were going to mention Freemasonry and stuff, and I'm like, is it uncharted ground? I'm like, there's a saying, curiosity killed the cat, and I'm like, I asked Alexa, I says, where does that come from? And it says, Ben Jonson. And I thought, interesting, I'll go search who Ben Jonson is. Ben Jonson, like from 16th century, around like where Shakespeare was, and says like, and I'm like, was he a Freemason? Like he did like a tribute to Shakespeare. In code of saying a certain like thing and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, in so many words, I'm like, it's funny that he coined the word for you not to go and look at stuff in a deeper meaning.
That's so.
I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying putting two and two together. And
yeah, but this is the whole thing. It's like I can't tell you the truth, right? You can see it. I can see it. What you see might be a bit different from me.
Yeah.
But the truth is only one, right? Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, for example, like in terms of timelines, how people say, oh, what about multiple different realities in the future? Forget about all that. There's a truth and a fact that we come from one timeline. So we're going towards one. So I see truth as that. Truth is the one thing, and it's uncomfortable for everyone, not only for me, but I think for everyone sometimes at certain points coming to terms with the truth, you know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough one.
I was just going to ask you, it's a conversation is about you, but I was just speaking to someone the other day about the name, how it changes the name to Disciples of Truth, and what you thought of it. Because one of the guys puts a lot of people off, and I'm like, what? I says, I don't want to be like, accepted by everyone. Truth isn't accepted by everyone. It's very much, it's unpopular, isn't it? It doesn't draw a lot of it, or whether it's, I says it's not, because he were on about disciples being tied to Christianity. I says, no, it's like, I want like an omnist kind of look. It takes the truth out of all the religions and can put them together. Yeah. It's not in one box. I says, but it's the word truth that's an off-put people, not the disciples. Because people, if they're not living a truth, last thing they want to do is hear about it.
Exactly.
Because you are a reflection of what you are. So.
Yeah. I think it's a good name, to be honest. You used to have 108 Flow.
Yeah.
I think that's a great name as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think the names like matter too much. It's more so who you can influence and how far you can reach out. I think Disciples of Truth is like a perfect name because if you think about it, this is essentially like no one had the internet like a couple 100 years ago, well, maybe. But if you think about it, if you go online and you want to search for something, and let's say you randomly come up with, let me search for Disciples of Truth. You never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And you stumble upon this, you'll be grateful for what you find.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can see why people would be like adverse to the whole disciple thing, and it's like, I don't want to have like subservience, so I don't want to be under anything, like I'm praying to something up there. But yeah, I think it's all right, and I think we're all disciples of truth, but we're not conscious of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's more like stepping into your own power, isn't it?
Yeah. 'Cause the truth can be very uncomfortable, but I feel like regardless of how uncomfortable it is, who you are, what type of life you live, we're all disciples of it. We all come from the truth because the truth is natural law. It's what we have here. Like everything here right now is the truth. Like this is the truth. Yeah. So whatever we do with it will reflect like who we are as a soul. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I like the podcast name. Yeah.
Because I think also as well, I picked it because disciples derives from the word discipline anyway, so it's like discipline of truth. So you get to find through uncovering the truths. I think like when you were saying conspiracy theories and also spiritual, I went through conspiracy route to then find like I'm sick of this now. I'm just reacting to all the badness. Whereas if there's an opposite to it, that means there's a way out to find my own divinity through it. Yeah. So then you start uncovering all this like astrology or whatever it may be. I mean, it's like being a kid in a sweet shop now. I'm interested about all life. Like, if it can give me some kind of power to step into to help other people, that's what it's all about, and that's why I've got you on the show. Is like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm coming to share really.
Yeah, that's interesting. Astrology is one thing that I always disregarded.
Yeah.
I remember someone asking me at 14 years of age, yeah, what star sign are you? And you know what I said? I'm an asparagus. I was like, I saw it on a meme online. I was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna say that. I just don't really care for it." But to be honest, the one thing that really caught my attention from astrology, I already knew about flat Earth before, but I never really clicked the dot, right? So one thing that really got me into astrology and also some other things, but mainly astrology, which is why I've studied it for so long now, I think 3 years, like hardcore study, is have you heard of it? It's called the prima mobile.
No.
So Bonacci mentioned this on one of his lectures and he quickly went over it, but I was like, I've got to do some research on this. It's basically like a very old drawing in, you know, the Renaissance era, how they used to like, make amazing like alchemical art and stuff, drawings. So someone made like a very simple thing, like a few arcs of lines, and within them obviously you have Saturn, Jupiter, and so on and so forth. And it was basically showing how this is like a vertical reality, and Dante's Inferno was like below it, like 7 more levels below it. That was what really like clicked for me, because having seen Eric Dubé at like you know Eric Dubé?
No, you really?
He's basically one of the people in YouTube. Can I swear on this?
Yeah, of course, can, yeah.
Fucking amazing guy. Eric, amazing, yeah, fucking hell. One of my friends like had found out about flat Earth when he was like 11, and that put him in a bit of a hole. And then he told me a few years later, and that put me in a bit of a hole. And I was just like super shocked, because when I go online, I see people talk about like flat Earth and everything, and I'm like, okay, but I still want people to make the connection between flat Earth and astrology. Yes. Because if these aren't just like balls in the sky flying over, if you can get like an actual powerful camera, zoom in, and you see it's a body of water, it's an actual being there, right, that has its shape or form in what we call a planet or a plane, then to me, I was like, oh, so astrologers are actually right. Like, these are actual gods. These are what they call Elohim in the Hebrew first 5 books of the Bible, Torah. Then this must mean that it's something here. There's something in astrology, because they wouldn't go out of their way to block out. Essentially, astrology is the feminine version of astronomy. Yeah. Astronomy is like very masculine. It labels, it knows it, and that's it. And it knows where. But astrology is different now. Astrology, you really have to pay attention to. You have to learn the 12 or 13 signs, and it's very different. So the prima mobile was what really captured my attention, because I was always searching for like the truth in terms of what it is that we're living on. Because for me, it's not about the shape of the earth. Why would you lie about it? You know, is that the same for you?
No, I get. This is where the question, like when people are like, what does it matter? That's what you get, top comments and stuff. I said, because if we're the only species in here that's running it, it means that we're gods. Like all these things that they're talking of, we have these powers. And I think the more that I've seen that, all the polluting, the poisoning, the food, or whatever it be, they can't kill us. They're trying their hardest and can't kill us. Or they can, they're over there, slow us down and dumb us down. But what happens when we all step into that as own divinity? Like, we are going to be gods in flesh. You've probably seen telekinesis and like the monks who start fire with their hands and like just crazy stuff that I've seen. And I'm like, once it's like the ants in the jar analogy. If the lid's on, they can't jump high enough. But once you show that 1,000 people around the world can start doing these amazing things, like calisthenics, I see people do that, and that's what's inspired me to start on my journey. It's just getting wheels going, but you're like, what's possible? Like, we don't even know what the benchmark is. And I think as we start to climb this and pass it down to the next generation, I think the floodgates are just going to open. Yeah. But we've been in this closed system. I found it fascinating when you see all the old maps and you see like the outer wall, and then you've got these accounts of people going through the wall, and it's not just one map. They're all around the world, these maps, aren't they? And they show it. So I didn't know if it, in my mind, is like wearing this like a dome like that. You can see the luminaries, and as it as like it says, as above, so below, are they just stargates to jump into, like they say the stargates all over, for you to jump into these planets, but in this frame, if that makes sense? I mean, I don't know the answers, but I think we're not being told the truth.
Yeah.
I think when you see the propaganda through, I think it's funny when you've got all your Disney, all the rest of them, they show, like, when the firework goes off, it goes over the dome.
The dome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got the one, is it DreamWorks, when he throws
He's
off.
fishing, yeah.
Fishing
that
on
comes
the moon.
from Mexico, actually.
Does it?
Yeah. There's like a 2,000-year-old drawing of like a shaman on the moon fishing.
For souls, yeah.
Yeah, for souls. Yeah.
But the catching them kids, children are the closest thing to source energy. And that's why the paedophiles and all the rest of it, that's why they try to get them young to poison the mind, because they know that they'll poison another 100 minds once they've changed you from that early age. Or they can. It's why people don't really want to give up the belief. Like, you haven't actually seen a globe. I haven't seen a globe.
I haven't. And trust
it's
me,
all
I've tried.
CGI as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, every photo is a CGI photo.
Yeah.
There's not an actual photo.
Not a
And then
single
I
one.
only learnt about the satellites, that they're only on air balloons. And I'm
High altitude air balloons, yeah.
I'm like, so where do you need any more? Like, I don't know what it is. I think because when people are wanting you to debunk it, they want all the answers and evidence.
Everything
and I'm
in
like,
one.
but you haven't had all the answers and evidence to
Yeah.
believe the other way, but you do. It's a crazy one, isn't it?
Yeah. Flat Earth is like the biggest thing that gets like discredited. But when you go about and you actually list everything that it uncovers or that it shows, you start to realize like, hey, this is what we should be talking about most, and it gets discredited least. Me personally, I couldn't care what I live on.
Yeah.
I could not care. The fact that I'm here, I'm thankful. But if the system I live in tells me that I'm living on a flying ball going at 4 different speeds, one of them is 666,000, I'm not going to like that. If I'm living in a system where they tell me, yeah, this is all the land we have, you come from a monkey, you were a big accident, it comes from a big bang, from a few particles, and the sun one day when it goes out in 1 billion years, if we're even alive, after like World War III or some crazy catastrophic event, this universe will end and that's it, like that's it. I'm like, really? That's it? But that's never made sense to me. And the reason I knew that never made sense to me is because if that's the nature of the universe, a biological and a scientifical thing, why can I pop a circle of salt and start talking to angels? Where does that come from in biology, in the system of Oxford University and Cambridge University and all these universities that want to teach courses into physics and stuff? Teach me the physics of that. You know, how does that work? How can I contact my ancestors on solstice or equinoxes? Those are the 4 days in the year where like the veil is like very thin.
Yeah.
Also in October. How can I do that? What science explains that? No science explains that apart from occult science. Yeah. So I knew from there on, like, yeah, this sort of magic cannot be happening on a flying ball and flying universe and all this.
Yeah.
Never made sense to me.
No, it doesn't with me. It's I think when you've been shown more of it, and like Zach was saying, even if you go on NASA, not a space agency, by the way.
Yeah.
But if you go on their thing, it's in their documents, everything that they've measured on is on a flat.
Yeah.
And the one that always jumps out for me is, if words are spells and words have meanings, aeroplane, it's on a plane.
I never thought about that one.
He said it, I'm like, well, it's aeroplane, why would it be going over a plane? It's,
Yeah.
you know, like
Aerial
a
plane.
plane's flat.
Yeah. And what do construction workers use to measure if something's level? Use a level.
Yeah.
And they see it. And what's inside that little level? A little bit of water, a little bit of liquid, right? And so my friend sent me this video. He's a Scottish guy, right? And I love the their accent. It's hilarious. I love the Scottish accent. And he went around a park asking people, he's like, you see that pond over there? And they look over and they'd be like, yeah. And they said, okay, take that pond and make it 10 times bigger. Tell me, is the surface of the water going to be like this, level, or like that? And they said, level. And he said, yeah? And they said, yeah. And then he's like, make it 10 times bigger. What's the answer now? And they kept saying that. And then 10 times bigger. And they kept saying that. Until they realized, like, oh, are you saying like it's all flat? And he's like, I want you to think about that. Goodbye. And he just walks away. And I'm like, whoa.
That's the best way to do it, though.
Yeah.
It's letting them sit on it and reflect. The more that you react and argue with them, they're going to be like, dropping gems.
Yeah.
It's all the propaganda. It's like Simpsons and stuff. When you see all the movies now, you're starting to see where they'll split the dome, and in ancient texts it says we live in a firmament, a heaven with the waters above. It's like, why would it say it all if there were no substance to it?
Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, they discredit it a lot, like the whole firmament and the shape of the earth. But if you think about it, look at the food you eat, look at the TV shows you watch, look at the science that your education system is backed in. It's a very well crafted system. You could say by the Freemasons. Plato was known to be as like the first Freemason. Pythagoras actually was known to be as the first Freemason. And then Plato came back, and I think 200 or something years later after Pythagoras, and said, yeah, actually it's a heliocentric system. And then Isaac Newton was also a Freemason. So it's a very Freemasonic thing. And no matter what you try and do, people have it embedded in their system, in the TV shows that they watch. Every kid loves to watch a superhero thing flying out of space, and it's fun to us. We don't realize like the long-term effects it has. We cling on to it. You know, it
creates your beliefs, doesn't it? But that's what I always thought when it shows in the in the Freemasons. It shows the compass as well, doesn't it? And and that was my interpretation. That was the sun and moon, like spinning round and just.
And if you look at the Freemasonic compass, at the top of the compass, not the square at the bottom, the top of it, you have a circle. That circle is the North Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the magnetic force into it.
Yeah.
Because it's magnetism in there, and
yeah.
There's very interesting subjects. There's like when I started coming across it all, it was just like blows you away because it's going against everything that you've ever been taught, but it also makes sense as well.
Yeah,
that was funny when I'd seen your stories you reading up here, and we've just been down to Wales, and you see all these wind farms.
Yeah,
and they don't even last long anyway. They're powered with oil. And I said to Zoe, I went, if you had just two magnets, just big, you could put them anywhere you want, just put them slightly off each other, that wheel would never stop. Never stopped turning.
Never.
I'm like, that's free electric. And she went, wow. And I'm like, that was stuff we would like.
Yeah, that was what we had before.
But then I said, them wind turbines, they don't power. I might get it wrong, but it's something stupid like under 15 miles per hour winds they don't generate, and over 25 or something daft like that they can't generate it. I'm like, and they only last so long. I went, but then you've got a system of magnetism that just constantly power it.
I had no idea that they only lasted so long.
Yeah.
Because I've recorded it. I always like seeing them in a distance. And I've heard some like bad stuff about them, how like they're not actually eco-friendly, but I didn't know they last long. Stupid. Under 15, no. Over 25, also no. It's like, what's the point then?
Yeah. Well, you got fracking and all the rest of it, and you're going for all this energy when they know it's free. But free energy means free the people. Like everyone's cogs within it. Yeah. We were working at guys, synchronicity of it other day with. They were saying about every tree that's cut down here, we plant male trees. That's where like pollen's so bad for hay fever. I often suffer with hay fever. And I was working at a guy's house over there, and he says, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And he went, "Oh, we grant where we're going to plant trees." I says, "Oh, is it true about the male tree?" And he went, I wouldn't even know. And I'm like, it's mad to know people are in cogs of the system and they don't know how it works. I'm like, but I'm hoping that made him kind of go and do a bit of research himself.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in London, South London, Lambeth and Brixton, that whole area, for anyone that does know. Yeah. And the funny thing about London is that it's actually considered an urban forest because of the amount of trees that they have. Yeah. So me going online and I'm seeing they only plant male trees and this is why everyone has hay fever, there's extra amount of pollen out. And I'm like, really? So I just do a local walk around my park and I shit you not, I see like 50 handfuls of like basically tree cum, which is like pollen, right, laying on the floor. And then there's like a bench right next to it and the lady sitting on the bench is like, I'm like, whoa. So I'm really starting to think like, Are we supposed to have these like this much male trees, or are we supposed to have the female ones that can bear fruit?
Yeah.
Now that's a whole nother one, and I think a lot of this is like taken for granted. There's a council that takes care of the people, and yes, oh, we live in a nice city, in a nice community. Like someone from a third world country will look at this and be like, oh, that's good. We're getting slowly poisoned, and that's the problem. It's like I'm not ungrateful for what I have. I'm grateful. I'm still getting slowly poisoned. Even for that, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
But if I'm at a position where I can understand that and overstand that, kind of makes it my job, my personal legend to change that for those that you don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's same as like Leeds now. If Leeds just we got rid of all women, and over time, what's going to happen? We're just going to die off.
Yeah.
We're just going to die. But that's same with the trees, like
Yeah.
the female ones, and yeah, it'd be lovely to be in a community or just in general where you could walk around and just pick some fruit off.
Pick some free
And
fruit
it's
off.
free. It's
Yeah. I do that in East London. I actually went for the first time the other day to Hackney Marshes, and there were like so much plum trees. Oh my gosh. Plum everywhere. There was pineapple weed and some things I didn't even know were there. Honestly, I think you could have got like 3-4 kilos just on one long stretch walking, just plums, apples as well, pears,
yeah.
a bunch of free things. But if there were male trees, if there were like some other just normal oak trees, big trees, just to like provide shade and stuff, it wouldn't really be the case. And I think this is like what we're lacking, is like remembering that when we walk past a tree, we eat the fruit, not hanging from it, but the fruit on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do in is it Jainism? They only eat fruit that is like
Is it?
yeah,
So
I think
when
it
bears
is.
through.
I think it's Jainism, yeah. So they only eat the fruit that's like below the tree. That's how
Oh.
you know when it's properly ripe. And I was there in Hackney Marshes, and I tasted. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick one. I picked a bright red plum, a bit sour,
Yeah.
not bad. Then I picked one from the floor, and I was like, oh, big difference, big difference, yeah.
Well, it's all by design, isn't it?
Mm.
That's something that I found interesting. It was like a passage, and I wasn't able to do it word for word. But we were on about in Freemasonry. They were on about like creation of God. Like people who were atheists, there's more reasons to believe that there's, to know that there's a higher power, that there's a creator of all this, than there isn't. And
Yeah.
they kind of mock the people that don't believe in it at all.
Yeah,
It's just crazy, isn't it?
yeah. Essentially, what Freemasonry has done is created atheism.
Yeah.
Atheism didn't exist before like 100, 200 years ago. Atheism is basically saying Big Bang. There's no other way. Because that's the only reason people would say anything. Even back then, people who weren't religious, or they didn't like this or didn't like that, maybe they're tied to it. Maybe they had some nihilistic thoughts of this is nothing. But this is what atheism is. It's nihilism. We come from nowhere. We're an accident, and we're going nowhere.
Yeah.
So there's no point. I can be evil. I can be good. It's the same thing. That's what an atheist basically thinks in the most like depth. Obviously, not specifically to every person, but you know,
They don't think there's no consequences to their actions.
pretty much. Yeah. I mean, when you're walking around thinking that this is the society you get,
Yeah.
it's just crazy, scary. It's like, how can I live in the same society as someone who literally does not care? They follow the rules because they're there. Otherwise, they'd be just as wild as any other animal. You wouldn't tell they're human.
Yeah. Bill Lawless, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What's the most interesting thing you found out in astrology that's helped you or helped other people through the information?
The most interesting thing
like the
in
most
astrology.
the most pivotal point for you, like with astrology.
Interesting. So when you get into astrology, you essentially, right, you find out like your sun, your moon, and your rising. I say there's two things. This is one of them, right? You are not one sign. For example, my sun is on the 29th degree of Cancer. So when people ask me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Cancer. But in the back of my brain, every time I say that, I'm like, dude, you're not a Cancer. You're all 12 signs. So that's one thing I realize is like, number one, we're all 12 signs. Regardless of what placements we have, your sun being in your 4th house and your 4th house being Sagittarius doesn't mean you're Sagittarius, because you act like a Cancer and you like to stay at home like a little crab, right? So I started really looking into this, and I'm like, so we're all 12 signs, but we actually have specific energies in these different houses or in these different signs. Cool. So I stopped really identifying with this whole, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Leo, I'm this, I'm that. I'm all of them, but a lot of my energy comes from certain houses and certain things, right? And I really started looking into the North Node and things like that. Very interesting when you start looking into your next or previous life as well in terms of that. The next thing I would say, the most important thing, is kind of relates to flat Earth. Have you heard of Kabbalistic astrology?
I've heard of it. I've not delved into it.
Yeah. So that's something that really interested me. So when they say as above, so below, I'm here thinking, okay, I'm living in like a circle, pretty much like this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
North Pole in the middle, perfect example. And I'm like, okay, as above, so below, what do I do with that? And I've sat down for hours thinking about that in terms of astrology and what that really means until I stumbled across Kabbalistic astrology. And they believe that every 5 degrees of the zodiac is ruled by a specific angel. Lo and behold, we have 30 degrees for 12 houses, 12 tribes of Judah or whatever it is. And it turns out that actually 360 divided by those 5 degrees, every 5 degrees, comes to be 72, which they talk about in the Bible, the 72 nations. So, and also in the Quran, you're promised 72 virgins after. But specifically in the Bible, which is obviously more related to Judaism, they mention somewhere, I think it's in Revelations, how there are 72 nations. And to me, how I see that is those 72 angels and nations. When people want to work with high magic, they infuse essentially energies. They start a ritual and a ceremony to get energies from above, literally high magic. So we're talking angelic magic like Enochian or something like that. But when we're talking low magic, that's not really astrological. It can be because, for example, fennel, if you put it under your tongue, apparently it helps you be more communicative.
Oh.
Lo and behold, it's ruled by Gemini, right?
Yeah.
I even saw Rick when he was here. He said he saw Mary as like the father. Does he know that actually marijuana is actually ruled by Capricorn, which is a very masculine sign?
Right.
Interesting. I saw that and I found that interesting.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, the bloke probably doesn't even know, but it actually is a very masculine thing. Same as tobacco.
Yeah.
So I started looking at these things and I'm like, interesting. So could it be that these actual 5 degrees of the zodiac are angels and things? And I'm at an experimentative stage with that.
Yeah.
But I think it is because the Bible mentions 72 nations.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Mm.
It is mad how it all comes around.
Mm.
And it's even like with the 12 disciples, and then you've got the 12 tissue salts as well, which I find fascinating.
Here at Disciples of Truth, we're proud to partner up with Charlie's Apothecary. Charlie's got some cracking products. I mean cracking. And to start off with, it'd be Cordyceps, and it's the first product I actually tried at Charlie's. It's a dual extraction, and Cordyceps is renowned for natural energy booster, helps fight diseases, and it's great for sex drive for those that care to wish, and you can wish. But no, on a serious note, I don't like going to the gym. If you've got low energy, I don't like the pre-workouts. This is great with a few drops of water. Swig it down, swirl it around your mouth, and off you go. And it can be aided throughout the day. And then the next product we've got is my personal favourite, is the whole blended salts. The salts gets a really bad rap through propaganda and doctors saying that we overuse it, when it's not true at all. To get the best salts in is one of the most natural ways of getting all the essential minerals into your body flow, so I'd give it a go. And it has Salinas del Carmen salt that originates from the Canary Islands, Fuerteventura if you really want to know. It's one of the highest grades that you can have, and then it's got another three blends to go with. And the next product we've got, it really doesn't need an introduction. It's Shilajit. You must see it everywhere. It's got 85 trace minerals. It's good for energy, mental health and clarity. And this is sourced from the Himalayan mountains. And I've tried many different brands of Shilajit, and I'd put this at the top of the ladder, and it's really nice packaging as well. And then last but not least is the oregano. It's the triple extraction. This is good for boost immunity, gut health, lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, it aids weight loss, and I've just personally used this. The house got some of his family members got sick, and it kept it off, and I haven't managed to get sick through it. Same again, put in water, swirl around the mouth. Brilliant products. What you also get from these products is it's handcrafted. He puts a lot of time and effort in with his team. It's UK only at the moment until it expands more. So it's only UK only, postage and packaging. What Charlie also does is he grows his own mushrooms. So we know that they're tried, tested, and they're also for freshness. So hit the link in the bio and go check out Charlie's new website. So all his range of products is on there, and there's something for everyone. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
I don't know what it's been like for you recently. I've been tired more than ever. Like really, like going to bed early, going to even sleeping in, and found it really difficult to get out of bed. I don't know if the energy's been off for you as well.
Yeah. A little bit. A little bit. Honestly, it goes and comes in stages of like 2, 3, 4 days. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes for 2, 3, 4 days, I'm feeling amazing. I probably wouldn't even need any food for those 2, 3 days. But in other days, like I just feel heavier.
Yeah.
There's this weight. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, you go to sleep earlier, you're not bothered for certain things. For me, I might be less social. Yeah.
I want you to touch on as well, because we spoke about in car, when your lymph nodes, and you did the 30-day fast, you've done 2 of. So I'm just interested to hear what your experience was like that, and how did your lymph nodes come about, and how did you know about that?
Interesting. So I grew up mainly like Portuguese, so you know this.
Yeah.
The Portuguese love their food.
Yeah.
They love their chorizo, they love their cheese, they love their animal products, and they love their animals in general, you know. Questionable because they eat them. But anyways, it's something that I grew up with. It's something that I grew up with, and I later paid the price because I would wake up, have like a big bowl of cereal, milk and Cocoa Pops as a teenager. Go on to have like a lunch, some form of cheese and ham and so on and so forth, not realizing that this is all acidic. So me at 11, 12 is when I really, especially 11, I really started to develop like a appetite, a hunger.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking in terms of like what goes in must come out, right? Until I was more or less, I don't want to use the word groomed, but more or less groomed, highly influenced by some of my Freemasonic family that I had before to go into the military and to make a name of myself in the MOD, Ministry of Defense and Justice and whatnot. So I was like, okay, interesting. And I'll be honest, I'd be a fucking animal if I was in the military. Yeah. I wouldn't have this long hair, but I'd be a complete animal. Like I love working out. You teach me how to use a gun or using a machine, good luck. Like good luck. Yeah, I'm very, very meticulous. So I can see why they wanted that for me. And on the last checkup, I went to a military base in Purbright. And the last thing you ever do after the hearing, after the encephalograph, I think it is, where they do like a heart check, the last thing they do is they lay you down on the table, and an old white doctor, like an old white man, started touching me up. I'm like, who's this? Yeah. He's like an old white man. He's like a doctor. He's like a very, very smart person. So I was like, okay, cool. I was laying down and he said, we can't allow you in. And I was like, what? I got good hearing, I got good circulation, I got everything. He's like, no, look at this. And I was like, what's that? And so lo and behold, I started looking into what lymph nodes are. So my lymph nodes were like very, very puffy. And for those of you that don't know watching, you have essentially 2 liquids in the body, blood and lymph. Lymph is like a white liquid that goes around and cleans up. So you have like the delivery system, which is the blood that delivers oxygen and nutrients, and you have like the disposal system, as John Rose says, right? If you guys have watched, or if you see John Rose, you'd be like, you sound like exactly like him, because I'm literally quoting him there. Those 2 liquids. And so after they denied me, I was like, huh? I was like, what is this? COVID happened right after. And that's when I went into John Rose, Dr. Sebi, and it was John Rose's juice fast that I did for 31 days, strictly juices. Some would be more like smoothie-like, some would be more like juice-like, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'd want something a bit more heavier to clean and push through and stay in my colon a little bit longer with some anti-parasitic stuff. Because if you make milk out of pumpkin seeds, even though the pumpkin seeds are anti-parasitic, the seeds aren't in the actual gut. So I'd make a smoothie sometimes, and that's what cleared my whole lymphatic system. And when John Rose was speaking about it, and when I look into cases now, even in PubMed, people can go and search this up. The government won't tell you when you're actually starting to develop cancer. They'll just say you have inflammation. And there's 5 signs of inflammation, so what's really going on here? So when I started looking at into a redness, a swelling, a this, a that, and I'm like, whoa, something needs to be done here. It was essentially, you know, it was the devil that led me to God.
Yeah.
Going into that whole Freemasonry and army type of lifestyle, which I don't discredit. I don't, you know, do your thing. But that made me go into fasting and really getting in touch with God when I have nothing in my vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it cleaned it out, didn't it?
Yeah.
What were the experience like then over that 30 days? The first time you did it? Have you ever practiced fasting, or do you just jump straight in?
Before that, I tried like a few days on like fruits only, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is when I just had like turned vegan, and I was like, fruits for a few days, easy. Not easy. Not easy at all. I had done that a few days, but I was like, you know what, like, let me just like say fuck it and go into it. So I got John Rose's little PDF. I think I emailed him or something, and I got it. It's online, people can just download it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
even in my link in bio in my Insta, because I think that's like the best thing. The first 4 to 5 days were the toughest. They were the toughest because I thought I wasn't supposed to be shitting things out, and I was like, what is inside of me?
Yeah.
And then I watched his other videos, and that's when I heard him mention like the serpent, like in men, because even in like in occultism, they say we have like 3 spines. We have the divine, the upper, and the lower. The divine being the spine.
Yeah.
The upper serpent being like the brain, because when we cut it open, it's like a little like small like you know,
Yeah.
serpent. And then we have like the small intestines and the large intestines look like a snake. And so he was saying like, once you go through that first 2 weeks and you're still pushing things out, that's when you know you should definitely carry on until you don't have much to push out anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I did. I think the first week was like the hardest though.
Yeah. I think I'm in that situation where I need to I'm doing some coaching at the moment. I'm trying to get to the way I am with calisthenics and building the muscle up, but I think I've been saying it recently, I'm not getting all the nods from the universe that I'm on the right path completely. Like normally I get a lot more synchronisms and stuff, but I think I do need to go on a detox, because you need to build on a solid foundation. So I think maybe the detox is where I need to go. Because when I were doing the fasting before, as we were speaking earlier, I go through hot and cold. I go really hot and cold for it, and also a very deep aching pain in my back, which is really uncomfortable. So maybe I need to tie it with yoga as well. But you've got to, I read a thing over there and it says you need to keep on pushing through until your body starts to just bring itself to one level where it's not going through hot and cold, because it's fighting itself.
Yeah.
But you've got to go through that discomfort to.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you experienced all like that in your 30 days, or.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a discomfort going into the fast, and there's a peace in the fast, because when you're drinking like 32 to 64 ounces of like just liquids, after a week or 2, you have so much energy. Like, I couldn't explain it. It's not a type of energy where yeah, let me run 5 miles. It is, don't get me wrong, like I definitely could, even in that state, even through that process. But that's not the point of it. The energy I'm speaking about is like life force, it's vitality. It's like I can talk about certain things. I'm interested in more certain things in this space, and that completely like blew me away. So I found myself honestly like after 2 weeks very peaceful. I started looking at like breatharians, like, hey, I see what you're on. I see why you do it. Or liquidarians. I was like, I see why you do it. But the tough one is going back into food.
Yeah.
Because you realize like now, and that's why I did it again. You realize like, oh, I'm getting like denser, and to you, it started to play with me, right? It's like, nah, you need to fast again. And so my mind will start playing tricks like, you need to feed yourself, you need some weight, you need some earth element, you need the water element, you need the air element, and it will be like a battle of both until I just realized like, just do a fast every season, mate.
Yeah. So I definitely need to step back on it. You do, the mental clarity just comes, and I think the Pythagoras said like when they were going to all these mystery schools in Egypt or wherever they were going, said they always entered like deep fasts because the clarity. They just took so much more in. And there's something more. People find it really hard to connect to it, don't they? Who's
Yeah.
not getting in, like, don't believe in fasting. They just think they're giving up food. No, like, it's
Yeah.
not. It just, your awareness heightens so much, and you notice so much more, don't you?
Too much, yeah, almost too much, yeah. Because the thing is, you're so open, and I'll tell you something very interesting, yeah. You won't find a single Freemason, right, who goes to lodge on a full stomach. Matter of fact, I've seen it myself. They won't eat a day or two before they go lodge.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? You can't conduct serious rituals. Not only in Freemasonry, in anything. You want to go do a ceremony, you want to go do something. I want to go do hape. I'm not going to do hape on a full stomach.
No.
I'm not going to have a full English breakfast and be like, give me the ayah. I'm not going to do a full English breakfast and be like, yeah, just blow out my nose. No, it doesn't work like that. And this is what I started to really pick up. It's like, it's the earth element that food gives us. And that earth element will, even though it's in our gut, it will tie us down here. It won't let us release our, like, what's called astral or golden body to go places or to even experiencing certain things and rituals.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's needed.
Yeah. No, it's the synchronicities that happen, though, when you start fasting. The people that start to come into your life, or there's just situations with people like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, once you start to notice things, or it's undeniable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is undeniable.
Yeah.
But no, it's what's so what's your ties to Freemasonry then?
Oh, I just had a stepmom
Yeah.
that happened to be a very well-known, apparently powerful Freemason around, like, Surrey and London.
Yeah.
So I just learned a lot. Like, I'm a super curious person.
Yeah.
And even at 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, I was just hammering her with questions. Sometimes questions she couldn't answer, sometimes questions that she could, and I didn't know she was answering, but it was in code.
Yeah.
And so I just started, like, learning so much. I got into Manly P Hall, and I don't want to put, like, a bad image on Freemasons. Don't get me wrong. Like, I read Manly P Hall. Oh, but he's a Freemason. You shouldn't be reading from him. He's evil and he's this and he's that. Read the actual work itself. Test it and verify it for yourself.
Well, there's good and bad in everything.
Yeah, because the things that they practice over in Europe in Freemasonry, in the Scottish Rite and in the York Rite and in certain things, is not what they practice in Canada when Manly P Hall was a Freemason. You know, different. When we talk about a Freemason, we talk about, it's like a sign, an emblem.
Yeah.
An emblem is basically like a bag. In the bag, you could have, like, your boxers, your knickers, your socks, your shoes. They all represent and stand for you. So that's what a sign does. So when we look into Freemasonry, what we really need to do is look into the rite, the RITE, and see what that represents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I find that very interesting, because they are very different people, you know. There's even a lot of black Freemasons who are Moorish.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of them? Have you seen it? Yeah. I'd have a coffee with them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see me have a coffee with someone from the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry or anyone that's involved in the Vatican or things like that. That's not my vibe.
Yeah. It's because I guess when people just hear Freemason, I don't fully understand all of it. I understand a lot of symbolism when you're watching these, like, not that I watch it, but you see the clips like Grammys, or you can see the symbolism that's behind it. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's good to be aware. It is good to be aware. I mean, we've just had Glastonbury this weekend, and I don't know, one of the acts was saying down, like, kill all Israel and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not down with any killing. Like, don't try promote it in any way, shape or form, because you won't want it done to you.
Exactly.
It's just wrong, isn't it? It's just like, we've got to get to that point where we're going to promote love over violence, and just taking eye for an eye. It's not even well blind, isn't it? So,
but people have fallen right into it, and this is something that I've spoken out against, like, so many people, and so many people have, like, blocked me and deleted me, and I'm like, good, because you're gonna come and unblock me and undelete me one day, and that's happened already. Yeah. People now want Israelis to die, or Jews to die, or Zionists to die, or whatever, because of what's happened to Palestine. But if you actually sit down and you realize that is a product of what has happened, you are being used as someone because you have a voice, an internet, a reshare, a repost, and you might be known on the internet. You might have, like, 0 followers or whatever, but the fact that you do that is going to spread more. The algorithm listens to that. What you're speaking to is an algorithm. If the algorithm is telling the people who made it, like, yeah, they actually want more Israelis dead, they're like, good, so we're going to bomb Palestine more, because it's only going to cause more hate and more controversy. But when you sit back and you're like, you literally sit back and you look at it and you're like, actually, if I emotionally and mentally like disassociate myself and I just watch it for a while and let it play out, the best thing you could do is hope for peace. It's just hope for peace.
Something that I've been really playing on recently is I'd love to see, whether you were an atheist or not, but it's free. I'd love there to be a day where we all prayed for world peace. At the same time, well, maybe doing grounding. I'd love to see the outcome. Even if you got 20%, I'd love to see outcome of people all wanting the same thing, rather than getting tied into these. I like to call it, well, they are the pendulums out that they put people in, where it's just good, left versus right, and tie them up in these stupid knots, and then you see these rituals of. I knew it were coming when I watched seeing Astrology, and they were saying on solstice for how many years. I think it was your post. It might have been your post. When they're on about that, there's always like a war event. It might have been someone else who was asking AI. He says, "Am I right in asking?" There's a correlation between this, and he went, I went, oh yeah, you definitely see some correlation. Something happens over that 4 days to initiate war, because they know the energy's high.
Yeah.
And they're not silly. They're not silly.
People who use astrology, it's like JP Morgan said, millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do. But that's because billionaires are Freemasons and they have to use astrology. Yeah. They don't go lodge on like a random day, on a Tuesday, more or less. Yeah. They do things for a reason. And it's good that you study these people in groups, because those groups have collected information over time that, regardless if you don't like their agenda or whatever, they have some truth in it. They have some things in it. And astrology is like, it's not, I don't like to call it astrology, it's the science of when, which then leads you to why.
Yeah. But it's just using the toolkit, isn't it? Yeah. And it's same as like, you can use a knife to stab somewhere, you can use it to butter bread. It's
make
how
a meal.
You want to, it's how you want to use it. And I found it crazy over there. They were on about the Queen even had her own astrologer, didn't she?
Yes.
So like, these are the people in power, and they study it. Like, why aren't we?
Yeah. And you want to know something interesting? In Europe, and I think all across this realm, but especially in Europe, right? And I found out because I was looking into like Portuguese history and how my people ended up on the island. But I come to find out, like, every single royal family to this day has a personal astrologer. Yeah, and being an astrologer, I can see how incredibly powerful that is, depending on the astrologer, right? If you, like, I know my house system, I know exactly in what degree my placements are. If there's something that I see coming up, I'm going to know exactly how that's going to affect me. To have someone work for you and do that for you is powerful. Yeah. Because let's say, I want to go out and spend some time with my family on this day. He'll tell you, don't do it. And to have that is like expensive. It's like right there and then he'll tell you, don't do it. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, because when you look on Moon, there's a website that I've used, is Moon Tracks.
Yeah, you send that.
You look on that, and it also says, it'll say on there days to do certain things, like don't get a car insurance, or it's a weird list of stuff, but it has like a graph of when not to do it and when to do it. And I'm like, there's something in it.
There's something about it, yeah. Because you would, the thing is, like, if it told you tomorrow, don't get car insurance tomorrow, but you had to get car insurance and you got it tomorrow, right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, let me see what happens. A week goes by, fuck all happens. You're like, it's bullshit. A month goes by though, and now you start seeing some problems. Yeah. You see, when we do something, we need to pay attention to horary astrology. So when someone asks a question, they set up a chart based on when they ask that question. They see how it's going to affect what that question is based on. So you might do something in like the car insurance thing and nothing will happen. But over time, when certain planets move or when certain things move, then that starts to be put into like a bad aspect.
Yeah. It all become clear.
Yeah, it will become clear in due time.
How have you used it then as a tool for yourself? Like, is there any major events in your life that you've like fully homed in, like where you haven't gone to an event maybe because of the astrology is not lined up, or you have put yourself in a situation because something looks divinely guided?
You want to know what I use it mostly for?
Go.
Humans.
Is it?
Yeah. I look at people's birth charts a lot. I stare at them. I really look into it, and I'm like, But not only people that I don't know, but people that I know.
Yeah.
Like my mum, like my family, like my friends. Sometimes I get their birthday info, and I'm just like, they don't even know it. I'm just in my house, like, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, does this really make sense though? So I guess a good way to answer that would be, I want to surround myself with people that are like-minded. I'm not really focused on that because I think everyone's around you, whoever they are, for a reason, for a good reason.
Yeah.
I would say one thing though is that not a lot of astrologers look at astrology in, and there's this term in astrology now in the astro community, evolutionary astrology, which is where you look at your soul. And for example, I look at me myself, and this is one way in which I use it, is how to better myself based on my placements. And I think everyone should do that. For example, me, I have my Mercury in 0 degrees of Leo, but just Mercury and Leo as well. Mercury is how you speak. Mercury is how you do medicine. If I'm speaking like a Leo, like I'm cocky, like, oh, this is this and this is like that, and if you think it's any other way, good luck. But that's just not the way it is. That's how I come across. That's how I naturally speak. So I realize that when I'm making videos online to share with people, I got to take a step back sometimes. Maybe sound a bit more like there's options or there's things, because I'm someone that wants to get down to the truth. And I know that the truth is a one thing, you know what I'm saying? So I look at myself and I'm like, okay, your Mercury's over there. Maybe careful with talking about that. But this also means that it's very good because I can attract a lot of ears, because it sounds like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's very confident, you know? But at the same time, it has a negative side effect, you know? Yeah. I just try use astrology on a daily level, to see the moon. The moon is very important on a daily level, extremely important, especially if you're a Cancer, because like myself, your ruler is the moon, which changes every 2.5 days. So Cancers are going crazy sometimes because the moon's just changing so much. Looking at it on a daily basis, financially as well, it's extremely important people pay attention with their business and with their finances, and astrology. Yeah.
What's your take on the moon then, of it not being local, like it actually is being put there?
Yeah, someone asked me this literally today.
Some people, like, I've been playing with it for a while. Santos Benucci were on about it, that it wasn't local. It was like 1400 or 1600 that it came into play.
Really?
I think it was him. But then it was like, so people now are all doing like these moon rituals, and like you need to start stepping away from it, like, and using different astrological dates. And what were your thoughts?
You know, someone literally asked me yesterday, what do I think about the moon? Is it a satellite for Saturn? You've probably heard how it's a satellite made by Saturn or whatever, here to basically like harvest our loosh. And when we die, the white light that we see is actually the moon, and we get sucked back in and we go back and we samsara. Yeah. So people are basically saying that the reason why we have samsara is because of that white light. Of the moon, or just that white light in general, as like a harvest. Honestly, I don't believe in that at the moment. I do, however, believe that the moon can be more or less like a bit of a map. I've seen people take the moon, look at it, how they basically take it and compare it to the landmass that we have here. And it's strikingly similar, like extremely similar.
Oh, the reflection back up. Seeing it.
Yeah.
Because it even has the outer wall, doesn't it?
Yeah. So some people are saying how it is literally like a reflection. But I like to go to the classic, to the basics, Eric Dubay 101, the Bible 101, and stick to what I have. And it's that the moon is it's a luminescent body, right? None of these planets that they, like Mars, for example, when Elon trying to go to Mars, really and truly, he's got like a very expensive filter and a very expensive camera in like northern Canada, where no one goes. But people have been on Google Images and seen the exact same places in Mars that the rover's been walking around. So when it comes to the moon, everybody knows the moon landing is fake. And if you don't, then best of wishes. But yeah, it's something to look into. It's something where you really got to pay attention to, because from the moment someone says like the moon is harvesting our souls, is that heliocentrism there going on? because I couldn't put those two together. I can definitely imagine it though, because if you go back in time, you find people like, I don't know if you've heard of the Illyrians or the Dardanians.
No, I haven't. No.
They were said to live at a time before the moon existed, and other peoples as well.
Yeah.
Said to live before the moon came. So yeah, the moon is unlike any other. The moon and the sun are like technically satellites
Yeah.
on this geocentrism plane, but the rest are actual like planes. They're their own planes going through their own motions, you know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I believe it's like a satellite, but I definitely say it has something to do with us on a more intimate level.
Because my take on it, I don't know what your take on it is like. I believe my soul's from, like, it was in Virgo, and I think it's,
Is that your rising?
yeah, Spican.
Your rising's Virgo?
Spican, yeah,
Me too.
Spican, yeah, so it's Spican, so it's the brightest star in Virgo, isn't it? And so my take on it is that my soul is maybe from there. That's, but it could be anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's no real way to confirm it. There are some ways. This is where I really develop a keen interest in magic, because some people want to take DNA tests and find out their heritage.
Don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
I don't want to give them to data,
Yeah.
because they've already been stolen. And I think what they're trying to do now, the hands that be, I'm saying there's good people and there's bad people, but they're trying to and I liked what someone was saying the other day, is like they're trying to track the ones who were trying to like overthrow last time. They can try to find the bloodlines through the DNA. And if people are willingly going, oh yeah, I'll put mine up and I'll find out where it goes, it's like you're giving it up.
Yeah.
And why is data so, like, it's the biggest commodity now?
Expensive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're using like a phone, right? And all of these apps are for free. I sign up to Instagram for free. I go and watch a video on YouTube for free. I go and see this ad for free. But who's making money out of that? You know, data is not free, but we're all involved in it. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And with the moon, it's a tricky one. People have very like different beliefs in it. But for example, one person might want to take some DNA test. For me, I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would follow a system of rituals where I can summon one of my ancestors in an actual ritual or ceremony and talk to them.
Yeah.
And see, hey, you know, you're my great, whatever, grandmother, grandfather, granduncle, whatever it is, right? Explain to me some of the things from your time, you know?
Yeah.
I think that, and I think there's a lot of shade, like, oh, you want to do magic and summon your ancestors? I'm like, why does that sound bad?
No, I'm interested.
Yeah.
If you'd like to share
Yeah.
how you go about that.
I wouldn't know exactly, but I think one system of magic. So this is mainly like divination, right?
Yeah.
Divination can be like astrology, tessiomancy, anything that would tell you something, that can foretell, especially. So, for example, Enochian magic involves itself a lot with angels and stuff. And there's other systems of magic, but for example, Enochian, which is one I've read into and watched a fair bit about, they like to communicate to angels and certain beings for a purpose of healing, for a purpose of getting to know more. And I think there's been such a bad name on magic that when you tell someone, yeah, I'd rather not give my DNA to global elite Satanists so they can keep that data, maybe track my bloodline, harm me perhaps because I'm one of those people like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'd rather just do a simple ritual with people that I know, set up an energy, and have my ancestor appear before me and talk to them in that stage. I'd be more than willing to do that.
Yeah.
Instead of give my DNA away.
Because
you know?
people are taught to give it all away externally out there. There's nothing from within, but all the things the way I tried to say to my friends who don't believe in it, I'm like, we're just radio receivers. Depends what frequency you're on. I mean, you're on a certain frequency of, it'll consist of the foods and drink and the information that you take on throughout your day, and how don't be in environments that you don't feel like you wanted.
Yeah.
Because it'll knock your frequency down.
Yeah, and it's tough battling to stay at a certain frequency, which is why they say things work better when you don't work on them.
Yeah.
You know?
Just let them naturally fall away, don't you? Rather than clinging on. I think it's sometimes we do it. like I was saying to you, I've just done it to fit, like done it to make other people feel at ease, and then I felt really down within myself. It's because my soul's hurting. It's like you knows you not you know that you're better, and not saying I'm better than other people. I just don't fit that crowd anymore.
But you know better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's, I guess it's retesting certain stuff.
Yeah, I think you know better. It makes you a better man, but not better compared to anyone else.
No.
Better than your old self.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, the only competition is you, and that's what we're trying to get over.
Preach.
And there's a lot of that. It's hard now because you're watching Tate. You've got Tate and other people trying to sway the crowd, and they're trying to teach you that you've got to be better than everyone else, and it's climbing up. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Nah.
It doesn't sit right with me. We're supposed to be letting people stand on their shoulders with the knowledge, keep on doing the upside down pyramid where we're kind of.
Yeah.
The knowledge is free and available for everyone, not just the people at the top and everyone looking down on everyone.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Let's just have a look at.
And the UK scene is a bit detrimental with like the whole spiritual stuff, and just people offering information. I have a few people who are like, have you heard of Pam Gregory?
No.
Amazing lady. She's from Surrey, does astrology, amazing.
You'll have to send me a link.
I'll send you a bunch of stuff, trust me. She's amazing. Her readings, her things, I think are absolutely amazing. But I don't think there's too many people in the UK, content wise. There's a few that I know that have been, like, for example, Rick, I love him. Certain people that I think, you know what, like, that's what we need for the future. If my children are going to listen to anyone, I want it to be these people. I don't want it to be Andrew Tate on a podcast with Bonnie Blue talking about all these things and debauchery. I'm not a fan of that. Keep that. If you like doing that, no problem. Don't tell kids and people about that in the world.
It's creating pendulums again.
Yeah.
We're having two mega houses in, like I say, mega. They are, unfortunately. I mean,
They are.
and whether that Bonnie Blue's a bloke.
You've seen that as well.
Yeah.
You've seen that as well.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't know who she was. It was just a guy, mate at work, and he just went, "Have you seen that girl? You slept with her?" I says, "I've heard of it," and he went, "It looks like a car crash down there," and he said that from the start. And then, like, he went, and I went, "Oh, he's supposed to be a bloke," and he went, "It makes total sense."
It is, yeah. It is.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. They invert it because that's the trick, isn't it? That's
Inversion.
what I'm trying to get the knowledge is. They try to take the seeds out of the fruits, trying to make you less of a person, and then the biggest trick is to make males or females masturbate to, like, something that isn't. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm. The thing about, like, masturbation and this whole thing is that porn and masturbation is the perfect way to get people to milk themselves for you. You'll never see a cow willingly walk into a factory where it knows it's going to be milked and its child taken away from.
Yeah.
But humans are the only ones where you can actually, it's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
We're like dominion over all animals, but we're stupider than all animals. You know? So yes, it's that one. But I have hope for the UK scene. It's just a bit sad that these, people we mentioned have more of a platform to speak about these things.
I see, at the moment, I'm starting to see it as a blessing because it can only go so far one way that it's going to force change. Like, I've got a daughter, and you look at what women wear now, next to nothing. And I went, and I watched Ali, and this is before I had a daughter, when he were on about his daughter, and he says, and she wanted to wear skimpy stuff, and she says, like, how do you find diamonds? You find it in the dirt. How do you find pearls? They're in, like, it's like all the things are covered up. It's to the, like, you've got to work for it. But at the moment, it's just flashed. And I went, oh, you just want to hope that the next generation of women and men, like, they actually take some kind of pride within, not just floating about and giving it to every other person, because you have got these energetic fucking attachments then, and you see why they're so fucked up. Like, it was saying that sperm in a lady, if it's just one partner one night, it can last for like 9 years, and it can go up to her brain. I'm like, so it
Yeah.
can be attached. I'm like, that's great. If you were taught that at school, of like, some people might be a bit more
Yeah,
fucking
cautious.
selective.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a piece of them in me for fucking 9 years. It's
oh
crazy.
my gosh. Oh, everyone watching is thinking about their exes and stuff now. Like, no. Yeah.
In the brain where you process fucking thoughts.
Everything.
And they said that's why a
everything.
lot of people go back and go back and go back.
You know, I saw something recently that said that apparently, I didn't see the study itself, but it was a study. Apparently, it takes, I think it was 8 or 9. I think it was 8 years to get over an ex.
Yeah.
So we're talking about what emotionally, and they've measured this. What they don't tell us is that you can actually, in my opinion at least, maybe speed that up with some fasting, some parasite, and heavy metal. You got to do those two at the same time. Detoxes and things to help get like their energies and their magnetic current out of your body.
Yeah.
That's something that I'd recommend for people, you know.
Yeah, well, because that's what you've gone into as well, studying nutrition, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing
'Cause
biomed.
Do you think it's going to come over here and, like, it's in the East, don't they do, like, the adults do 4 parasite cleanses a year, just that's, like, standard protocol, and it's not even taken on over here? Do you think it's going to take off? Take off, maybe?
No, I think it's going to get worse here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get very much worse here. Yeah, I think in terms of food, there's definitely going to be some sort of crisis with food, and they will try and replace it with something that they put in the film called Soylent. Have you heard of Soylent Green?
Yes, I've heard of it, but I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially, there's a film made in like the 60s or 70s, in the 2030s and 40s. Basically, no humans could live like above the land, so they live like underneath, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they only had this one thing that they could regrow, a little bit like mushrooms, called Soylent, right? Soy.
Yeah.
And it was known in the film as like Soylent Green. So they say that the New World Order is a plan to get people to eat Soylent Green. This is why people are against veganism, because they think that they only want us eating plants and they don't want us eating meat and what we're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's going to get worse before it gets better in terms of food. But we definitely should, the whole health system, we should have, if we're going to act as like Europe or as any continent, or I think we should come to terms with having like a health system that, number one, maybe meat only once or 2 or 3 times a week max. 1 day of the week, no food, and a parasite cleanse at least twice a year.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. I think that would be like a tremendous start.
Yeah.
You know?
Fasting, fasting. I think everyone should fast 1 day a week. It'd be easy to do.
It's
just
easy.
mind over matter, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mind over matter. And it's the thing is, people have got into comfort. That's the thing. It's an emotional comfort for a lot of people.
Mm.
And it's the processed foods. I've said it before, we're getting Americanized.
Big time.
Like, you look at the food that's coming over here now, it's exactly the same. It's copy and paste.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at the waistlines. I think we're top in Europe now. I think out of average people who do a weekly shop, 80% of their food intake is ultra processed foods.
80%.
Yeah, but you look at like how hard it is now for people and families where cost of living's gone up, and then they're walking around, no education in the food or nutrition at all.
Yeah.
But they're walking around the shop and pizzas, like they're at 2 for 6-7 quid, and then
I get it.
the fruit, and then they haven't got the time, and it's because all the limitations of they're in these many prisons in the mind that they can't jump out of it.
Mm.
So, but it all comes from education, doesn't it? It needs to be taught at a low level of quality over quantity.
Mm. You ever notice it's always a problem with orifices in our body?
Yeah.
The holes in our body. They want to control what goes in and out of the holes in our body. That's creepy to me. That's creepy. That's satanic to me.
Yeah.
Why? You want to control the food I eat, what I hear, the air that I breathe can't even be pure. It has to be polluted.
Yeah.
You know? So we won't even get into the other orifices or anything like that, but you can imagine.
I can, mate. For the listeners now then, who's listening, what is one thing that they could do if they're like feeling at a crossroads in their life? What is one thing that they can take away today that you could maybe give them where they can step into the power and start to take reign to their life?
Get an A4 piece of paper, draw a line on the middle, write on one side what you can and what you can't control on the other side, and carry that piece of paper around with you. And every time you get in that crossroad mindset, look at that paper again, maybe add some, maybe take some, maybe cross some out, put it on that side, or cross them out, put it on that side. Find out what you're really and truly in control of and not in control of. And from there, what you do with that information will tell you how far you're going to get in life. And if it's not far, then just enjoy it anyways. And if it is far, enjoy it anyways.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Ooh, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Yeah, I heard that in a line from a movie called The Bronx Tale. You probably know it.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
film, yeah.
Yeah. I think that, and I think just that the saddest thing is wasted talent.
Yeah.
Is when you see potential, but the potential isn't being used.
Yeah. I see a lot of potential in a lot of people, and it's like you just want them to step into it. But then on a reflection, you've got to start stepping into your own stuff as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because it's also a reflection. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners? What?
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to say a few things actually. Since we've talked on a range of subjects, and you might have a few questions. I just want to give a few sources of information, some literature, and some videos to watch, because I know this is mainly video based.
Yeah,
First and foremost, I'd like to say a thanks, and also recommend everybody watch a man online called Eric Dubay that I've mentioned here. And this is not only about like the flat earth. I think if you're actually open-minded and you look into what he says about veganism, about how the world operates from a philosophical point, amazing. If anybody's interested in astrology, then you can just simply watch Pam Gregory. I'd highly recommend that, and to also watch John Rose for your health. So in terms of like conspiracies and flat earth, I'd recommend Eric Dubay, because I don't just recommend people, I don't just shout people out for no reason.
Yeah.
These are people that I can see that have produced like literature, books, videos, hours of research. He has a podcast himself, and it's something that you really ought to look into. Astrology wise, I'd definitely recommend looking into who Giordano Bruno is, Ptolemy, Ptolemy, Walter Russell, books from those people. The Light of Egypt is a book that, again, I could not recommend more and more. Actually, it was Bonacci that recommended that to me. And like I said, John Rose and Dr. Sebi for your health and nutrition. But to be honest, that's a touchy one. People don't really want to get told what to eat, what to listen to, what to believe. So at the end of the day, yeah, these are recommendations. And I just recommend you always look for something that you can try for yourself. Test for yourself,
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. It's a pleasure. I love this.
Thank you very much.
Blessings.